Hello. We're back online. 2 podcasts in one day. I just can't help myself. 1 second. I had some sound issues on the last podcast, so I thought I'll do this again. I had too much background noise and it was very difficult to hear me, and I think I actually need to speak up more. That's probably better there. I think I talk quite quietly anyway, so I need to be either close to the mic or higher volume. But this is such a beautiful song. It's a popular TikTok background sound, but I really like it. What's it called here? I think I'm addicted to TikTok. I'm going through a TikTok stage at the moment because I'm finding so much just different information. I am a truth seeker, and I'm just love to learn. So when I can find new sources of learning every day, is just learn more and more and research and talk to people about different ideas and different people's thoughts and people's ideas, like stories of their wisdom, their past. So it's a perfect for me to be able to do podcasts. That's my perfect occupation. So hence why I'm learning to do podcasts, because I feel like it's the perfect way to live an amazing life. Like you can actually you can travel the world doing podcasts. You can choose who you want to speak to. You can choose what topics you want to talk about. You can just connect with people on a level that usually takes a lot longer time. Because if you're sitting down with someone, even just for an hour, in that hour you actually, it's just one-on-one, and so you connect with someone on a deeper level. Like we don't often give each other time that a podcast seems to offer. So I really, really enjoy doing them, and the key, I think, is to get the essence out of the person. Like, wow, I'm only just started talking to people on podcasts, but to get their essence and to get their story and to get their wisdom. What's their wisdom in there? What have they experienced in their life? What's their life hacks? And what's their beliefs on the world? And maybe they've got a better belief that we can learn from. Everyone's had such different and varied lives. So podcast, perfect way to get to unravel all that journey of that soul that you're talking to. Yeah, so for me that's the perfect job. So that's why I'm doing it every day, sometimes 2 a day, because it's just seems right. We don't talk enough with people anymore. I feel like we're so busy that we don't sit and talk with people. So that's the power of having those conversations, and to be able to then share those conversations with people who are unable to have that conversation with somebody. It's I got so much value out of with Joe Rogan and his for over the last few years, from the conversations, like just bullshit, just sometimes just like Duncan Trussell was one of my favorites because he's just, yeah, they just go on down such rabbit holes. Like, it's just so fun. It's fun. They have fun, and it's great to hear people having fun in conversation. We don't hear that enough. Everything's always so serious. The news, everyone's deadpan, and occasionally you get the weatherman having a bit of a joke. But yeah, everything's so serious. Everything. And yeah, maybe we need to have more jokers in the world. That was I can't remember where I heard this. Maybe it was Osho. It said that in the king's courts, they would always have the jokers and the clown type personality, and they were part of the court. And they were part of the court because it took away from the seriousness of events, and the idea is that, like, life is not serious. And so if you head into that world of seriousness, and then you don't connect with the world the same way. And so you make incorrect decisions if you're in that serious state. If you're in the more maybe less fear-based state, if you're not fearful, like, because that's the thing, when you can make the wrong decisions when you're in a fear-based state. So having those jokers and the fun people, the entertainment, the music, changes the whole vibe from serious to fun. And you can even have the most dire circumstance, but you can somehow don't fall into the seriousness of it. Yeah, and I think maybe that's the failure of the corporate world, is they have no jokers. Like, you sit in a boardroom and there's 20 people in there and it's just so deadpan, and it really is dry. And I lived that world for a while, and I have one memorable 3-year project and it was probably, there was a few factors, but there was one guy there that was the joker in a team of about 25 people, and he just was always joking. He was organising events and just having a good, like, he was getting paid for that. He was also skilled at what he did, but he was like, to have him there was worth every cent, because you have to have that in your team, or your community, or your village, your city, or your little work team. Someone who breaks the seriousness of things. Yeah. I've got a Buddha. Oh, you can just see the corner of it, actually. Over here, just there. That's a like a fat Buddha, a laughing Buddha. And I remember a story Osho talked about where in Japan there was a Buddha, an enlightened man who would go, like his teaching method, because he had found enlightenment, so he discovered the truths of the universe and realized that we're all one, and that life is just a magic adventure and that it all is wonderful and beautiful. He discovered that, so he just went around and was just turn up to the town square and just start laughing and play games with all the kids and like bring this joyful spirit to the village. He just like start laughing. Yeah, there's many forms of like enlightenment, but ultimately enlightenment, I think, means has a certain wisdom or knowing of some of the truths of the universe, and that's what you call the mystic. They reach that mystical state. But the interesting thing is that we haven't, like our society has been programmed to think that it's only possible for one person who's going to turn up at some point. Like this is what I don't like. I believe that enlightenment is available to everybody, even to animals. Like you reach a state of like oneness, I guess, which is for me like you don't get it all the time, right? For me, I'm on my upward journey, always moving upwards. Yeah, it's a constant state of learning. But there is a point where you reach a state that's bringing you the joyfulness, being in a state of joy for the majority of your life. And I know the Hindus have all stages of enlightenment, but I guess what I'm saying is that it's a state that's attainable to everybody. But we haven't realized that, and we don't, the majority of us don't even realize that it's possible. And to reach a state of enlightenment, what is it? But to reach it, the first step is to believe that it's possible. And most people don't believe it's possible. Yeah. So it's like, if you don't believe it's possible, then you're never even you got no hope. You've got to first believe, and what we've been told in history is that it's almost impossible, and that only special people, it only comes to special people. But if you, like the Zen Buddhism, it's for everybody. Anyone can become a master and who understands the way, the Tao. Anyone can become that. But in Christian circles, Muslim, Judaic, they believe it was just a one-off. But I think the story's been a little bit jumbled. So yeah, it's I think that that's an important step, to believe that you can actually get there in this life. And we don't have a lot of time. You know, like by the time you're 20, you've inherited all this baggage already. So then you've got to get rid of that baggage and trauma and those parts of your life. Learn from them and like discard them, so they're not holding you down anymore. So maybe by the time you're about 30, 35, you've managed to do that. And then you start to open your eyes as to what is God, or what is nature, what is everything around us. And that begins the journey. And so, 5-10 year journey, yoga and meditation and like all these steps of purification. By 50, and then maybe another 10 years of work, and then you become enlightened, and then you've got like, how much more time have you got? And that's like the enlightened state, I think, is a state where you just have wisdom, you know truths, and you can then share them. And so like we should all strive for enlightenment. We should all strive to be the sages, because then we can share that wisdom with people around us. And that's been my quest. Is to improve myself and learn because I know that, like, I knew that the sages were talking about something. What are they all talking about? It's in every religion, this spiritual space, the halo around the head. Of course it's possible, and it's possible for everybody. So it's like, well, this is worth doing, because imagine getting to that place, and then imagine what you can do, how you can fix things. My mother, most beautiful, amazing woman, but she had traumas. Her sister had passed away, and her best friend, and then her daughter. And she had trauma, a lot of trauma, and in those days they didn't have anywhere to talk. Everything was just like, don't speak about it. So she had some issues that, and my stepfather wasn't around. He was, half the time he would work away. So I was sort of put in this position of needing to assist, help my mum in these drunken states of sadness. That was pretty shit. It made me angry. I was angry because I couldn't help. Wasn't able to, didn't have any idea how to help, but it's my mother. And so that was a real desire, sort of set in place this desire to be able to learn to help people. And that was what I was drawn, the spiritual path. I've been on this journey that I can't stop learning more and more. I'm just it's my passion, is raising my vibration. And so it's, and that means that I can then help others. And already for me, being involved in a community and just learning so much in that, and being able to help people, because the community, it offered us a home for people that didn't have a home, but it also offered them family and friends, and just a place to hang out and communicate with each other and listen to music and play music, and that was that was healing. That gave me such satisfaction to see that the people who were passing through were being healed as they came and went, and they fell in love, and then they and so I wonder how many people do podcasts, solo podcasts. And I wonder how successful they are. There must be somebody who does solo podcasts. It's sort of like gaming, but like I'm actually not doing anything. I'm just like straight into my mind and out. But yeah, the silence. Usually you'd have someone to change the topic or bring up another topic. Yeah. It's good practice. I highly recommend it. We should all do it. Just talk to yourself. I remember Osho said he just, if you've got things to say, but no one wants to hear, just go and talk in front of a mirror. So I'm pretty much doing that. Like I can see myself on the screen. And I am talking because no one wants to hear. And it's like, okay, cool, this is good, I like it. And then maybe there is people who want to hear. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be. This is my career, interviewing people from all over the world. Yeah, amazing people. That sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. My beard and my moustache. The plan is for the moustaches to. It's meant to keep growing to the out. This bit here, at the moment, it's sort of hanging down onto my top lip, which I think would irritate most people. Yeah, so the idea of enlightenment is not an impossibility. And so I've been striving for it. Keep striving. But now that's all I want to do. And it's funny because I live in a world that's very hard to make that happen. Because unless you've got a support around you. But to be like a spiritual seeker, like the problem is you just lose interest in everything. I'm not interested in working in a 9-to-5 job anymore. I just couldn't do it. I just can't do it, so I won't. But it's what I want to do is be able to read and talk to people and do podcasts every day and build a sustainable village. That's what I want to do. And be in love. And so I'd have my children around me. And so how do you transition into that world without, like, it's a very difficult, especially in the West, it's very difficult to transition into that world. Where I haven't been to India, but I believe in India, like I know when I lived in Thailand, the monks with their begging bowls will go into town in the mornings, and the locals will have food prepared for them. You know, like if like that's it's part of their culture that there's spiritual people wanting or seeking are allowed to go and sit under a tree and given the time to be able to do that. And the community provides for them because they see them as a good thing. Like having spiritual people around, they have wisdom to share. Like they're the sages and the druids. Like in the past, they were the most respected. Where somehow our culture, we we don't even have traveling druids anymore. Like it's just not even a thing to hitchhike around. It's like we don't see people just wandering unless they're homeless, and then they're in a not a very good mental state. But what about the traveling druid who was like spiritually evolved and wise, like the wizard? There would have been them getting around, just like Gandalf. But yeah, so it's in the West. It's very hard to have unless you're in the particular denominations. Like if you're in the Buddhism stream, then they have monasteries. But like for me, that's not my path, because I don't want to withdraw from the senses. I want to explore the senses. Like I'm more into the world of Tantra, like the outer world, where I think Buddhism has more gone. It's a different path. So yeah, but that's the thing with Tantra. Your mind goes to sex. That is part of it, but it's way more than that. It's about drinking this coffee with awareness and savoring every drop and all the different flavors as it moves through the mouth. Like it's exploring the beauty that is around us. Oh, we've got Stripey's arrived. Hello. I've got a wild cat that he lives in the neighbour's barn. Hello. But he's beautiful. Hello, how you going, mister? This is Stripey. Hey, mister, are you hungry? Oi. I'm going to get some food for Stripey, and then I shall be back. That good, Mr. Stripey? You're going to end up living here now.